Shalom, and welcome to B'nai Noach Academy, Thoughts on Life. Please remember to hit the like button and to subscribe, and please to share this wisdom and inspiration with friends and family. So recently, a question came in one of the comments, something to the effect of what's the right way to address or to refer to God, to say God, Hashem. I want to just take a few moments to try to explain it. Obviously, this will not be comprehensive, and this matter is a matter that this deserves and requires extensive study. But just to give you a basic rundown of what's right, what's wrong, and why. So let's just start with using the name of God. There is a prohibition in the Torah which says, "Velo techalalu et shem kachi," you shall not desecrate my holy name. Meaning that God's name, even if you're not directly, so to speak, talking to him, God's name is sacred. The word God is sacred. Any whatsoever title, and here is the point, in any whatsoever language, whatever it is that is obvious and clearly a reference to him, to the Almighty, to God, to the Lord, whatever it is, needs to be treated with respect. It needs to be treated with reverence. For example, too many people, when something happens, they go, "Oh my God." Now, I'm just using this now for illustration purposes, to teach, to learn. That's okay, because it's in the context of a productive endeavor. But just to use it loosely like that is forbidden. It's wrong. Even worse, and this already goes into real bad territory, is when people go, "I swear to God." That's for sure wrong. That's even worse. That is severe already. That is absolutely abhorrent. You see, because you're not only using God's name, now you're swearing in his name. Now you're crossing a very, very thick red line. But what happens when you're writing? Again, one should be very careful. Any whatsoever title that is distinctively a reference to God himself, G-O-D, L-O-R-D, not in the context of, for example, important people in the UK, but Lord, you say the Lord, capital T, capital L, that is a reference to him. Even the word Almighty, it's a capital A, Almighty. It needs to be treated with reverence, with respect. And therefore, the best way to go about it, in order to ensure that it's not ever disrespected, is, for example, when you write the word God, yes, you write a capital G, but you write, instead of spelling it out in its entirety, instead of writing G-O-D, it is better to write G-D. Or Lord, capital L-R-D. So you are omitting a letter, so it's not fully written in its entirety. Or even Almighty, capital A-L-M-I-G-H-T-Y, or capital A-Mighty. You see, it's important. By doing that, it's not just a loophole. It's not just playing a game. On the contrary, it's expressing the utmost reverence for God's name. Now, what is this word Hashem, which I mentioned in the question phase? Hashem is actually Hebrew and literally translates the name. Thus, especially in the Jewish circles, we shy away and we're so careful from mentioning God's name at all, even in a euphemism, that we refer to it, we just say Hashem, the name, and it's understood that it's a reference to the name of God, otherwise him. So you don't have to actually say Hashem all the time. When it's in the context of a discussion of learning, a productive discussion of Torah, of instruction, then it's okay to use God, especially when clarity is needed, especially if I'm speaking to an audience which not everyone would be aware of what Hashem means, and that would throw them off and that would confuse them. And they may not understand the contents and the context of what is being delivered, the message that's being delivered. Thus, I think it would be preferable to just use the plain, simple word God. But that's not the same, and it's obviously totally different than if somebody just goes, oh my God, oh, I swear to God. No, that's not how you use God's name. So you see the difference. This is, again, like I said in the beginning, in the introduction, this is just merely giving a few points, a few tips for perspective. I believe that this is the nature of this matter is such that when you think about it, you rehash it in your mind, you yourself will come to the positive conclusions and correct conclusions as to when it's okay and when it's not okay to, quote, say God, use God's name. Certainly, of course, none of us would use it in vain.